So, I never thought it would actually happen, but here we are. MMO Champion has an article saying that World of Warcraft has finally thrown wide open the gates and is allowing cross-faction raiding. So, let me start off by saying that this is a great change, and I think it will help a lot with the health of the game going forward. But I also wonder, why now, and what does this mean? So, I looked through the blue post, and they mention right at the start that, begin quote, "For years now, many players have questioned whether the rules restricting communication and cooperation between Alliance and Horde need to be so absolute. The faction divide could keep close friends from playing together, or cause players to feel that their faction leaves them with far fewer opportunities to pursue their favorite group content. But these downsides have long been justified in order to preserve a central element of the Warcraft universe. It all began with a game titled Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, right? And this really annoyed me. Blizzard had to justify using a really antiquated gameplay element for years due to an old game. Just another case of Blizzard being stubborn and not wanting to listen to what their players want. Also, the central element was a faction divide? Really? I know Blizzard has tried to force that to be the case, but it really hasn't made sense for years now. The Horde and Alliance have been teaming up for a long time. Which Blizzard happened to mention in the statement. Which is like, yeah, no kidding, it hasn't made sense for years, and you knew that and forced it anyways. And no matter how you look at this, it's stupid. Blizzard has always been gameplay first, and even if you wanted to tackle it from the story perspective, the Horde and Alliance have been teaming up for years now, so there really is no excuse. In all honesty, this statement brought back a flood of negative memories. This faction divide nonsense has had a negative impact on my experience with the game, and these were things that players have been asking for and wanting since like Cataclysm. So yeah, faction imbalance issues have been around for a long time. They even led my old Alliance guild to eventually faction change. It's a bitter pill that most Alliance players seem to have to swallow if they were serious about raiding. For whatever reason, Horde always seemed to be the go-to place for raiding. Blizzard didn't care about it back then, but who could blame them? An entire guild paying for a faction change is like $600 right into Blizzard's bank account. Bonus if they had to change servers. And having to change my faction was something that really annoyed me. I was playing my Alliance character since I started the game. It wasn't something I wanted to do, but I did feel forced into it. And I know there are players out there that don't care about these sort of things, and will play whatever faction is best, easily changing without a care. That's just never been me. And feeling forced into it really made me hate playing the game. Going Horde was one of the reasons that quitting the game was just so easy for me. It just completely shattered any kind of care that I had. I liked my character, even when I hated what the developers did with my class, or with the game mechanics. And that kept me playing. Being forced to go Horde made it so much easier to quit. So I ask again, why did this change take so long? The cynic in me knows that Blizzard only does what players want when things have gone to hell. Or put another way, subs are way, way, way down. This can be seen several times throughout World of Warcraft. In Cataclysm, Blizzard were adamant about having heroic dungeons being challenging again, and players complaining about it did naught to change their mind. You know, until most of those players just up and quit. And then in Warlords of Draenor, Blizzard were adamant about taking away flying, and we all know how well that went. Anyways, like I said previously, kudos to Blizzard for giving players what they actually wanted. But of course they couldn't just give us it, they had to add some caveats, or guidelines. Most of these are whatever, but the one that blew me away is that they are keeping guilds faction-based. Why? That is so stupid. You can raid with the other faction, but you can't invite them to join your guild? Like, why not? And it's not like this is some technical issue they have to figure out. They are making it a guideline. This is a conscious decision. It's always like, Blizzard can't just give us exactly what we want, so they have to put in all these stupid restrictions. It's like the whole conduit system having charges on it all over again. We just wanted to be able to change conduits whenever we wanted. Was that just too much to ask for? Anyways, this change did not entice me to want to come back. I am more than happy playing Final Fantasy XIV and really looking forward to sinking my teeth into Lost Ark. But who knows what the future has in store. I realized that this video was all over the place, but really, the announcement brought up a lot of feelings. I played the game for years where faction imbalance just made things so much more difficult than it had to be. It didn't really help that I was an Alliance Raider in a Horde Raider world. And Blizzard's excuses for why it took them so long to implement this annoyed me. We know it's because they were raking in the money by forcing players and guilds to faction change. And why change it now? Probably because the rating numbers are at a record low, subs are down, and they had to do something. So why not give players something that they have been asking for, well, for years? Well, that's all for this video. If any of you stopped playing World of Warcraft, did this make you want to come back? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please consider leaving a like, commenting, and subscribing, and as always, have a great day.